Hello and welcome back to the long time coming second part of our experiment on this channel using Football Manager 2019. What would happen if a Lionel Messi player began their career in non-league football? Well, last time out we started things off with our creation of Gary Shearer, very patriotic English name, who has 200 potential ability, the maximum potential ability. He started off life with Harrogate Town in the Vanarama National League, and things have improved for him considerably since then. We went on a further 2 seasons in the first part. He moved to Burnley after just 1 season in non-league football and had a couple of pretty good years as he broke his way into the Burnley first team. Now, in this part, I have gone forwards a full 10 years from the start of his career, a further 8 seasons on from last time, and without further ado, let's have a look and see how Gary Shearer has been getting on. Well, as you can see, perhaps unsurprisingly, he has turned into a complete and total beast of a player. He's still only 25 years old, and he looks like this. Where do we even start, really? Well, the obvious point, he has transferred to Manchester United. £85 million is his current valuation, and £325,000 a week, even more than Marcus Rashford's on in real life. But well, let's look at his attributes. We look at anything else. Still holding up incredibly well, as you would expect, developing even more. 17 finishing, 18 composure, 16 first touch, 16 dribbling, 16 long shots, 16 passing, 18 technique. Physicals are incredible. Um, if anything, actually, some of them have gone down a bit. His determination, I think, has gone down. Natural fitness has gone down, but not by much, not in a way that's really drastically affected him. And just he's listed as an elite striker, not listed as world class on his media description, but I think he probably is. I'm immediately drawn as well. 81 caps for England and 69 goals. He's 25. I mean, that's way beyond Wayne Rooney's record, way beyond it, and he's still got, at the absolute least, 5 years left of top level performances, and he's going to be playing for considerably longer than that. Absolutely crazy, right? Let's have a look at how he's been getting on first and foremost. So this is where we left off. His second season at Burnley, he got 14 goals, 36 appearances in the league for Burnley. He stayed at Burnley for another 3 seasons, 17 goals in the 21-22 season, 27 goals in the 22-23 season. That's really him kicking on. And then 14 goals in the 23-24 season. He joined Manchester United for £77 million in that January transfer window. I was checking in throughout this period just to see how he was getting on. Constantly interested, constantly getting interest from other clubs. Real Madrid, PSG, all sniffing around. He was transfer listed at some point around about this season, but nothing came of it because Burnley's valuation of him was too high. Eventually, perhaps quite modest £77 million what Manchester United paid for him. Be interesting to see if he ever does actually leave Manchester United. This was kind of my fear, but I think probably Real Madrid and PSG are going to be the only teams that could potentially get him, at least until the twilight of his career. He may well stay at Manchester United for the rest of it. But since moving to Manchester, then 10 goals in his half season there in 17 games. And his first full season, 28 goals, his most prolific season so far. This is, of course, just league goals. Overall, considerably more than that. 23 league goals. The following year, 15 in the subsequent one. A little bit of a fallow year, may have had a little bit of an injury. We'll have a look at that. Overall, 26 goals, and then 21 goals, 30 overall in his most recent season. But his highest average rating, 7.93. He's got to have been in contention for some major awards here. Now let's have a look at his milestones, see how he's been getting on. And there's a lot in here. Let's go back. We'll go to landmarks first of all, and we'll go right the way back to see what trophies he's got. So he scored his first senior goal in, I think, was it third game of football for Harrogate Town. But then he won in 2020 the Under-19s European Championship with England. But actually, other than that, he didn't win anything for the entirety of the first part of his career. He didn't win any trophies with Burnley, perhaps as to be expected. No other trophies with England in this period at all. He scored his first senior goal for England against Estonia on his debut in 2021. But then since moving to Manchester United, he really has started hoovering up the trophies. Champions League in 2026, Super Cup the following year as well. They won the League Cup, the Premier League, and the Community Shield in 2021. So not loads. He's been there for quite a few years now. It's not massive amounts, but he has won the two major trophies that an English team can win, and certainly a pretty successful career so far. With still, realistically, we're talking about 10 years at least of his career left at this point. Let's have a look at his awards. We look at some of the other things, and there's a lot of awards in here. Absolutely loads. Okay, so loads of Team of the Week awards. Top goal scorer, of course, when he was at Harrogate. Into the Burnley overall best 11 after 1 year. Won the Golden Boot and Best Player at the Under-19s Championship. Winning Player of the Month award, Young Player of the Month award. For Burnley, won their Team of the Year 2021 season. Best FIFA Best Under-21 Men's Player while he was at Burnley in 2021. He's in the overall England 11 in 2022. He won the Golden Boot in the Premier League for Burnley in 2022. I can't imagine that was the last time he did it. Okay, well, the 2022 World Cup for England, he won the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot and the Best Young Player award, and he was in the World Cup Dream Team for that World Cup. We'll have to check that out in a minute. How did England do in that World Cup? He won all three of the awards an outfield player can win. Crazy. He won the Golden Boot, sorry, again with Burnley in 2023. He won the European Golden Shoe in 2023 as well. Have to see how well England did, how well Burnley did during these seasons. Go forward a little bit. Lots of Player of the Month awards. He won the Premier League Golden Boot again in 2024. He won the Golden Shoe again. He's absolutely owning these scoring records. Here we go. Shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or, well, FIFA Best Men's Player Award, actually, I should say. They're now separated, aren't they? He was runner-up in the Ballon d'Or in 2024. FIFA Player of the Year runner-up as well in 2024. Now he's at Manchester United, won the Golden Boot again. Only third place in the Champions League Golden Boot that season. Needs to buck up his ideas, but best player in Europe, Golden Shoe once again. He's just cleaning up these awards. Considering he's not won that many trophies, he's certainly succeeding a lot on an individual level. Golden Boot again in 2026. He hasn't won the Ballon d'Or by the looks of it. He's been shortlisted again. He was the runner-up again in 2026. Very unlucky, not actually winning the Ballon d'Or yet, but he's still got plenty of time. Best player in Europe. Third place in the FIFA award, and then Ballon d'Or runner-up for the third time. Forever the bridesmaid for him here. This is, I think, the most recent season. Yeah, third place in the Golden Shoe. Not his most prolific time of it, but some cracking awards there nevertheless. Right, that's given a lot of things we need to look at then. I think we need to look at how well Manchester United have been getting on, how well Burnley got on when he was there, and how well England got on as well. Well, let's start by looking in more detail at the Ballon d'Or. So 2024 was the first time he came as the runner-up to a 32-year-old Mohamed Salah. A little bit harsh, you have to say. He scored way more goals than Salah, but the average rating wasn't as good. Following season, he was not in the top three at all. Kylian Mbappe winning it at the age of 27. He won it the following year. Shearer again in second place, this time to Mbappe. Federico Llori looks pretty good at Barcelona. Second place again, Felipe Catalano winning it this time. And that seems incredibly harsh. He got one goal more, but this time Gary Shearer's average rating was better, but he didn't win it. So he's really been robbed quite a lot there. So England have not won the World Cup at any point in the save. The 2022 World Cup went to Italy, and the 2026 World Cup went to France. have a look and see. Okay, England did actually get to the final in the 2022 World Cup and lost to Italy. Didn't get there in 2026. Let's have a look and see. See, didn't actually get through their Nations League group, which is not great, but okay, World Cup. In the group stage, they beat Iran 4-1. Gary Shearer getting a goal there. Beat Germany 3-2. That would have gone down well. A brace from Gary Shearer. And then, I mean, classic England, really. Beating Germany and then drawing with Guinea, but it's fine. They got through. I think probably would have won the group based on those results. In the second round, getting some revenge for 4 years previous, knocking out Croatia. Gary Shearer getting 3 goals in the first 20 minutes, sealing that one for England. In the quarter-final, a 4-0 win against Ghana, Gary Shearer bagging a hat-trick, and then he clearly would have been the top goal scorer in this tournament. A 3-2 win in the semi-final against Paraguay. You wouldn't have asked for better opponents than Paraguay, really, would you? And nearly mucked it up. 3-0 lead, shipped 2 goals, nearly threw it away. But then we did throw it away in the final, losing 3-1 to Italy, a team that didn't even qualify for the 2018 World Cup. But some very good players for them on the game. A 3-1 win, very disappointing. No repeat of 1966. Let's see how they got on in the 2026 World Cup as well. Well, not quite as good by the looks of it, and hang on, have they changed the format of the World Cup in the game? I didn't realise they'd done that. 2 matches in the group. They beat Jamaica and Ghana, but that's apparently it for the group stage. But then there's an extra round. So they must have expanded the number of teams in the World Cup. Second round, they beat Congo 4-1, and then a 3-2 win against Brazil in the third round. Then they got knocked out in the quarter-final by France. So I'd be interested to see if we can actually see the new format. Obviously, things have moved. I don't know if we'll be able to or not, but can we see? This is 2022. I want to see the 2026 World Cup. Okay, so they have actually changed the format of the World Cup in the game. I didn't realise they'd done this yet, but there's way more. They've increased the number of teams as FIFA are planning on doing in real life. Way more groups, mostly of 3, and then an additional round of matches, the third round. Okay, that is going to make it even more difficult for England to win the World Cup anytime soon. No European Championship wins for England in the meantime either. France and Italy continuing their success in the World Cup with victories in those competitions as well, although it is currently ongoing. The 2028 European Championships currently ongoing. England top of their group at the moment with wins against Slovakia and then a draw with the Czech Republic as well. Interesting to see how they get on with that one. So the next logical thing to do, of course, is to look at Burnley, and I can see already that they've ended up in the Europa League at some point, unless they play 2 friendlies against Sevilla, which I think is unlikely. So this was their first season in the save. They finished 12th. They bought Gary Shearer from Harrogate that summer, and then they finished 11th, 15th, 15th again, 12th, and then 10th. Now this was around the time they sold him. For 10th place finished pretty good. They then finished 14th following year, and 10th the following year, and then 11th the year after that. But it looks like they're in the Europa League. So have they won something after Gary Shearer's gone? Oh, they won the FA Cup in 2027, and then they finished as runners-up in the Europa League in 2028. That is pretty ridiculous. So what were they able to spend? They must have been able to spend huge amounts of money. Okay, so this was the season that they sold Gary Shearer. They sold him in January and spent 61 million in the meantime, including Kevin Roig from Wolves. Following season, just 37 million. And then not much after that either. So they kind of, I don't know, maybe got a bit lucky with their run. Some pretty big spending, nevertheless, 29 million on Pinamonti. They've just developed into a relatively stable mid-table Premier League side and had a really good cup run, winning the FA Cup and getting to the final of the Europa League. I'm not sure how much of an influence they had from Gary Shearer. He obviously had left by the point that they'd won those, but a big chunk of money for him, nevertheless, presumably could only have helped. Quite a few lost finals to Manchester United as well. FA Cup final, Community Shield, another FA Cup final, League Cup final, and another Champions League final in the season just gone. All narrowly missing out on winning those trophies. But certainly an absolutely glittering career so far for Gary Shearer. And he's 25, he's in his prime. Barely any injuries in that whole time. He did put his injury proneness very, very low. 4 weeks with a twisted ankle, 4 weeks with a double hernia, and then a calf strain, 5 weeks. The longest injuries he's had in his whole career to date. Clearly a very, very successful time of things so far. His contract at Man United runs until 2032. You don't imagine that they're ever going to let him go, or at least not for a very, very, very high fee. But we shall have to wait and see how he goes for the rest of his career. So I'm going to go forwards another 10 years, I think, for the next part, which may be quite some time away. My computer is very slow. And we will see how he gets on towards the twilight years of his career, and we will see how he gets on towards the twilight years of his career. So thank you very much for watching. That is going to be the end of this part. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode, and I will see you next time.